Ooh, nearly missed it. I think I nearly missed it. No, I didn't. It's 7 o'clock sharp, and it's Thursday. And hopefully I got everything right this time. 5 minutes into the stream. Okay, now press E to... Well, yeah, we'll see if I remember anything. I'm just going to give the stream a few moments to get started up here. It's probably already started, but just tuning in a little bit. Wait, are you teaching us, my friend? I don't know. Well, it seems like I've been popping up there. So, hello everyone and welcome. It's Thursday and it's another live stream. It's going to be a lot of fun and we're going back to the roots today. We're going to do some low poly modeling and it's been a long time, so let's see how rusty I am. Just making sure everything's set up and running. Can I get a sound check, please? Is the music too loud? I always put that on too loud, but hopefully no one can barely hear it. So we've got the usual suspects here. I see thanks to my moderators as well, Andreas Brillen and Mia PC, Oval and Mia. Very nice to see you guys. And of course everyone else as well, all the usual suspects here. Jen, we've got Talon, and Jet Grove is here, Miguel, Pancake, I'll say Jeffrey, Darwin. Oh, well, it's going to be too many names to say it all. So, great. Hope you've all heard sounds great, apart from my voice that keeps messing up, jumbling up the words here. I hope you've all had a great week so far, and whatever it is that you're doing, working on something mundane, maybe, but then you get to spend some time on your weekends and evenings to do creative stuff like, I don't know, Blender modeling or game development or, I don't know, drawing, painting, something. That's most of the time in my career, that's what I spent doing. I spent only my spare time doing it, but I put a lot of spare time into it. And now I happen to work on the Line War game, but that's a lot of work now. It's operations now as well, so it's turning into a normal job. So, what have we got in store? We're gonna do, see, I've already prepared here. Check this out. This was not yesterday, was it? Since I'm gonna tune my settings a little bit here. I can even enlarge myself a little bit. Ooh. Because I'm streaming in 1440p. And why is it? It's like the same song is on repeat. It was just long. I put some my older stream music in as well. That was from back in the day when we did the 24-hour live stream stuff. So make a low poly dungeon. Do you know what I was gonna do? Just to get, I actually did a low poly dungeon once, and I think I've done lots of different things. But just to get back into low poly modeling, I was gonna try to keep something in a smallish scene like this. But I want to do. And I think I've done a lighthouse in the past, but I still want to do it like a mini island with some rock formations, a little lighthouse and a mini pier, maybe some lights, and just want to decorate it with something. And I'm going to try to keep it compact. Sometimes when I model stuff, I tend to go, okay, I'm going to have like a big island, and then whatever I do, you know, I don't have time to detail it out. So maybe we can put a little entry, a little cave entry in the rock formation or something. We'll figure it out. So, can you make a procedural low poly dungeon? That's some tricky stuff there. I still have to get into geometry nodes a little bit more. This is live, you maja. So, this is actually a live one. It's been a while since I did my premieres and stuff. Now with the release of Line War, I'm gonna tune my time so I can focus a little bit more on my YouTube channel to create the good old content like I used to do, like compact videos, because I understand that not everyone has got the patience or desire to sit and watch me for 2 hours doing something. Or 3 or 1 hour or whatever it is. But I was thinking to do some more videos of those and try to keep the format short. I need to make sure I tend to my channel. So, oh, Link likes my Discovery of Planet X. That's been in a few games actually. Tracy Brothers have created a bunch of space games, and I've had that in there. So I think I've even got screencast keys running yet. And we should, let's see. We got everything. Delete the default cube. Never. You don't delete the default cube. You just modify it. So I think what I'm gonna do, should I? Let's see. I'm gonna on my other screen every now and then. Let's see. Where have we got it? Oops, that was the wrong one. So on my other screen, I'm gonna bring up maybe some pictures like this. I'll just Google like lighthouse. So I'm not going to use blueprints or anything, but I'm going to maybe just Google some images like this so I can get some ideas just of how tall they are, like 3-story and a little thing there, a little door, just so I get the shapes, just so you know what I've got on the side here. But literally I just Google image search something and I put it in there. And I hope you all know this now, of course. E to extrude, S to scale, those are the keys that no one is allowed to forget. So let's get started. Or what's this? 5 minutes into a stream and I'm actually not talking anymore. Well, I'm still going to talk. So to get the scale right, to see, I'm going to do maybe an island that is... how big should the lighthouse be? I don't know. But maybe my confinement space is something like... okay, so let's see. This is 2 by 2 meters now. So if I scale it... I want to keep it super tiny. So should we scale it by 4? That's my constraint limit. And that will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 8 by 8. Yeah, that's good. Sounds good to me. So let's have a look. I'm gonna... My chat is on the other one. So if you want to ask me questions, do @Impensia. And then I'll try to like model a bit and talk a bit and then look back at the questions. I'm probably going to miss a few questions, but never mind. I'm going to try my best. And if you really want to stand out, you could do the super chats, of course. But that's not mandatory. Certainly not. So what should we do? Let's just chill out and do some modeling today. My rock formation... Oh, this feels really foreign. So Shift D, I'm going to put my lighthouse here. I always do this. I like to subdivide. And then I like to do, if you haven't enabled this one, of course, loop tools, a must, because then you can do circle there. And if you do top view, I can see there roughly. So one floor is about 3 meters tall, I'd say. 3.5, 4 meters, should we do 4 meters? One floor is 4 meters, make it easy. And then I'm gonna make it a little bit stylish maybe, so I'll shrink it a little bit. And then E to extrude, we'll do 4 meters again. Let's scale that down, and E to extrude, we'll do 3 stories, 4 meters. There we go, scale. So that's going to be the height of the actual lighthouse itself, I think. L to select the length, and G to move here. It's been a while now, so if you're wondering how I got this palette here, because I get that question all the time, then it's just a texture that I created in Photoshop, and I created these gradients just by creating little cells and then doing gradients. And in the material, I've created, oh, I thought it was going to crush then. I just dragged my palette texture into here, and then I connected color to base color. And that's all I've done with this one. It's a very simple material that way. And to get the coloring then, all you do is, I've changed on the left here. So you got this image viewer. And then I can, I actually, most of the time I model here in the UV editor. Because then with that viewed here, I can do L to select the linked here, and then UV. If you don't have the UVs at all, you can do reset here. And then you get all these big UVs, and you can see the palette is there. It's just like the texture wrapped on all of them. And then usually what I do is I press S to scale this down, and then press 0 to scale it down to an infinitely small dot. And then I can press G on the left here and then color it whichever way I want. So if I wanted to create a white lighthouse, I'll just do it there. You could work with colors instead, but I find for a lot of my workflows, this is the absolute fastest way to do coloring. All right, so we've got the base of the lighthouse here. Another thing I do a lot is, if you don't want that interior there, you can press X and do dissolve. Okay, X and do limited dissolve. That takes away those interiors there. Could be quite good if you don't want them. The reggae is going on. What's going on? Oh, already some questions here. Can you make a little cute penguin, please? Zion said. Okay, well, I don't know if I can make them cute. I can put that on the side. I'll try to. Make a sky island on top of the island. Okay, on top of it. That's right. Okay, let's see. Should we ever need to use your track? What cost is this to you if one of your scores or compositions cost? In the asset store, I sell some of my music licenses. It's quite cheap, I think. And also on my website, you can license it. But the previews are broken still, 2 years down the line. But it's royalty free then, so once you got that license, you can use it for as much as you want. Blended to Unreal Engine workflow maybe. Yeah, I need to learn that a little bit more first before I can do it. And then you say 8 by 8, but what are the units used in Blender? There's actually no, as far as I know, there's no definition on the unit length in Blender. It's just units, and it's whatever you want it to be. So I usually translate that to 1 unit is 1 meter, because when you export it into a game engine, then usually when you apply unit scale and export it to Unity, it comes in as 1 meter. So it's pretty handy. Why not vertex colors? I just find it a lot faster to do this workflow with a palette, because you can replace the palette as well. So if I've done some workflows where I had a character, for example, or a car or something, and then you can just shift the palette and it shifts the color scheme of the cars. And I find it just to be super fast to work with it that way. Zion, on the road to 300k, yeah, it slowed down a lot, but I only have myself to blame, because I'm doing mostly live streams in the past couple of months, so it's time to step it up now and do some proper videos too. So that's it. Okay, let's continue with our lighthouse here. So I'm gonna put the little platform up here. Sometimes I like to separate the platform. Don't be afraid to do that. Do Shift D to detach this face, and then scale it, and then E to extrude it. That way you have this independently. You can, because sometimes if you keep doing this, you could have E to extrude it, S to scale, E to extrude. It's all attached, so you're quite limited then to that design. But if you start to separate, I'm still in the same object, of course, default cube here. So just a little handy tip, because when you press L here to select the link, then you can just move this wherever you want. So if I want to delete it or change it or something. Scale this out a bit, E to extrude, and then you can do the same here. When you, I'm going to put a fence here. Let's see if I can do, how should we do the fence thing? I'm going to do Shift D to duplicate it again, scale it down a bit, E to extrude, and maybe 1 meter would be a good safety. And then I could do, here you can do L to select the link, just move it up. This is a separate object, so maybe one workflow would be to hold the Shift key and select those two. I to inset, and then we want the rail to be about that thick. And then here's a nifty one. Right click and do bridge faces. So it bridges the top inset and the lower one, and then there we go. Some basic fences. Move it down, and should we do that one in a darker black or something? So that's going to be that, and then we'll have to have the interior of the lighthouse. Shift D again. I always just reuse a lot of this stuff there. So just use the same geometry because it's shaped and placed exactly where I want it to be. Extrude and 2 meters, maybe there. I pressed the 2 on the keyboard. To there, and then I'm going to do, maybe I'll do a separate again. So I'll do Shift D again, E to extrude, and I to inset, E to extrude, E to extrude, S to scale. Oh, I want to scale this one first. E to extrude, S to scale, E to extrude, S to scale, and E to extrude, S to scale. There we go. L. Maybe a different gray there. So then here's a question. Should we do... I want to resize it. I want to make this a little bit smaller. I'm going to press L, which I just did, scale, and Shift Z. When you press Shift and an axis like Z, then it scales on all the others axes except that one. So then you can scale it that way. It's pretty good. G, and usually for glass, if I don't need it to be transparent in a game, if I want solid objects, I just color it, and maybe like this color would be good for the lighthouse there, something like that. And I think I want to go even darker there. So, okay, so the world's simplest lighthouse so far. This needs to be a slightly different color too. There we go. So let's see if we've got any more questions. Good to see Infancia in Blender again. Missed the 10-second challenge, Lewis. I missed that one too, actually. It was so fast I missed it. But the 10-minute challenge, on the other hand, I missed too. I've been thinking, like, should I do episode 101 and keep it going? And I'm thinking it's sometimes good to look forward instead of back, even though if I'm very nostalgic myself. Let's see what else I've got. Link. I am also a composer and doing what you do, but I need to amp up my skills in Blender before I can add my music into my projects. But your compositions are great. I use Nuendo and Cubase. I used to use Cubase most of the time. Now I switched to Studio One. I felt that it was a little bit more up to, like, a bit more modern maybe. But it's, I need to do some more music too. It was fun to make the Line War soundtrack. I'm gonna add some more music to that. So good luck with your compositions and your blendering. So best way to show glass, Hussein is saying, it depends. So in a game engine, transparency sorting I found is always a problem. So because the graphics engine or the graphic cards to perform as good as possible, if you were to start to put transparent objects, it can struggle to do the sorting order. So I try to avoid it as much as I can, but if you definitely need to do it, you could either create a separate material with transparency and assign it to the same one. I would have probably kept it as a separate object in the game if you're going to use it for game engine. In Blender, you don't need to do that. It depends on if you want to do Eevee rendering or if you want to do cycles as well. Cycles is better at transparency. Eevee has to cheat, just like the graphics cards always have to do. But if you look at my history, let's see, which one should it be? I'm trying to think of which video would show transparency best. I've got a few. You could look at, I think I had it in my 24-hour stream, if you want to look at that one, the second one where I did that asteroid city, maybe. So, all right, let's continue. I'll check the chat in a bit again. So for this, to move everything up, I think I'm just going to do A to select everything, Shift, or I already got that on there, move it up to here. I'm going to put it on a little bit of a rock formation. And maybe the rock, I'm with the rock, Dwayne Johnson. I'm going to still work in the same object, I think. And should I save? Should probably. Let's see. I'll save it on the desktop for now. Oh, I resized it by mistake. Live Blender Lighthouse. I'm gonna fix it. There we go. Saving is for chickens, I know. Thanks, Mia, for confirming. Sardor, do you work as a freelancer? Every now and then I have to work as a freelancer because when we developed Line War, it was from savings and just worked for 3 years without pay. And then we finally launched the game, but it's going to take, I don't know. It won't make back the money that I've put into it so far anyway. Let's put it that way. So maybe if we can keep working on the game, from now we should be able to start lifting a salary finally after 3 years. But at the rate, it's very difficult to make money by creating indie games. So be prepared for that. But maybe from now I can actually start to lift the wage for a few months at least. Okay, I'm just thinking here. So let's do a rock for. I'm gonna actually separate this. So L to select the linked, and then P to separate the selection. And then here should we do? I think I'll do a custom. So I'll do E to extrude, S to scale on the X, and you could do. If you want to do it artistically, you can do what I'm doing. Not saying I'm artistic, but I'm sort of modeling this manually now, but just selecting some faces and doing E to extrude, S to scale. You can, of course, just apply like a distortion modifier. So that could be one way to do it. Actually, let's do it that way then. At least to start with. So you can do L to select the link, maybe. Should do subdivide here, or no, I'll do control 1. Okay, it needs to be more control. Why is it so slow? Here you go. Control 2. When you do control 2, when you have to be out of edit mode, then it actually creates a subdivision modifier and puts it on there with the render level 2 there. So I have to tab. I can actually apply this one. Control A. Tab A, scale it up a little bit, scale it on the Z, and move it down a bit. And then I'm gonna just manually do this, I think, but you could do a noise modifier just to see what. No, I'm actually just gonna. When I do low poly stuff, I like to do most of the stuff manually. But what you can do is enable. If you press O, you can do this and do the proportional editing, because then you get. Oops! Don't delete them. G, and then you use mouse wheel. You can start tweaking this a little bit, so to your liking. And I think I want to put it so that it's on like integrated into the rock like this. I don't know why I wanted to do that. But I want to have it like this, maybe. Looks like an egg or something. But we'll fix that. We'll break the edges up a little bit and do some things. And use the mouse wheel to change the proportional settings. I think I'm going to do the entry here, so I'm going to make a little bit of room for it. And we're going to work as a low poly thing. So I'm going to put maybe the vert here somewhere. And then I think I'm going to fake a water pane just now. So I'm going to do Shift-D to duplicate that one. And then now I tried to move it after I did Shift-D, but it moved with it. And it's because proportional O was enabled. So you have to disable that. It can trick you a little bit sometimes. And now to flatten this, you could do Scale Z0. That flattens that one. And then scale it. We can scale it up. And then color on the left side G. And then just making sure I'm actually showing stuff. I have a track record of showing my face instead of what I'm doing for some reason. It's just stupid. So I'm going to move that down to there. And I should do... So it's just a placeholder, so I know roughly... It's a floating rock. Not a floating island, it's a floating rock. I can hold Control and Shift and click all the way to there. That'll actually... And then scale it. And then I'm just going to keep doing G... But O, remember, O is really, really good. O is proportional editing. So we'll do it like this. And here I don't look at any reference. I wouldn't really necessarily look up a rock and do, unless it was Dwayne, and then do it. So I'm just going a little bit off whatever I feel like. And I'm thinking I want to do a little path down to here. So I think I'm going to extrude this. Control S to save for lamers, for check-ins. So down here, I think I'm going to do E to extrude, G, and just move this in. And then here, should we start doing some deformation here? See if we've got any questions. This texture palette is downloadable somewhere. It is. Check in the description of this very live stream and nearly all of my videos. Infansia palette. If you're wondering why I've got multiple ones here as well, it's because I was setting up for emission as well. So usually I have an emission texture that all of the ones down here light up with bloom. And then this one was set up before for transparency. And this one I added after a while because I found myself sometimes wanting a lot more desaturated colors. So let's say I had... Let's say I had something like this and I had a green color like this. For grass or something, and then I found sometimes that it was just too saturated, the colors. So then I created these which shade in, so I can actually have a desaturated green there. So that's the only difference between these. Link, any chance you can give some tips on how to import our music into our project at some point in the near future for creators like what you do and myself for the future? Thanks. How do you mean import music into projects? Do you mean game projects? If you could clarify. And then Zombian, what is your favorite game that you have made? Well, I've only really released one proper game, and that was Line Ward after 3 years of working on it. So that's the one I'm definitely most proud of so far. I've done a lot of small games. I've done Beat Balls. Well, that was the first Steam game I released. In the past, I've created some Arkanoid clones, a multiplayer Tetris thing, a top-down car racing game, but that was quite a long time ago. And then I got switched into doing a lot of assets. I wanted to make more games, and then I turned into assets because I found that I could earn a bit of money creating game assets and sell to other developers. So I never really got the chance until Line Ward to do a proper game release. Another one I've been happy with, apart from all my looted their entries, which have been quite fun, is parking spaces that are released for the Android. It was a little mobile game where you swipe these cars into parking slots, and I enjoyed that one a lot. But it got taken off because I needed to update the privacy policy, which I didn't have time to do. So I'm going to change it to a free game because I was trying to understand how to do in-app purchases with that, and then I annoyed myself with it. So I'm going to fix that one maybe and try to release it because I actually thought it was quite fun to play that one. Some people are mentioning low spec as well. That's you can go to there's palette sites, so lowspec.com if you Google LOSPEC. I think that's how you spell it, right? It's pretty good, or very good. I think I'm going to do a separate entry. I didn't see that on the on the video, but I think I want to do Shift D to duplicate, scale Z, scale G, and I think I'm going to do like some sort of an entrance. I don't know why I felt like customizing. That's another thing I tend to do, which I don't like, is to go everything with it being perfect. So to get it a lot more character, instead of just having this perfectly E to extrude, S to scale, E to extrude, even though that's a cool thing to do, then usually I wonkify it. So just to give it more character. So it doesn't have to be perfect. Let's try it. O for proportional, select that vertex, and then I'm just going to move these a little bit like this, because you don't want it to look perfect, probably. And even this could be a little bit wonky. And if you wanted to do it like quite funky looking, you could really change it a lot more than I'm just doing subtle changes now. So L to select the link. Should we try to do maybe a wood entrance? No, you wouldn't have wood. You'd have concrete as well. The wood would rot probably. So let's do that. And then a door. Height inset. Should do. I've got no idea what scale I'm operating on here. Sometimes to do that, I do. You could do G to move it. Oh, proportional off. G, Y-axis, 1 meter. Okay. G, Y, 1. Sometimes I do that just to see how far it is. G, Y, 1. Then I know that was 1 meter. So it's not the best way to measure it, but it's one way to do it. And you know what? I'm already unhappy with this, so I'm going to take it away. L to select the link on G. I'm going to make the entrance in here anyway. At some point. Let's just work a little bit more on the rock formation for now. I think I want to do it so I've got some stairs coming down, I think, on the rocks here. So how should we do them? You could integrate it. I'm trying to think. I want it integrated in the rock. One way to do it could be to L to select the link here. I don't want the water pane. P, separate by selection. Control S before I mess anything up. Control 2, let's do that one again. But I want to do simple and then try to apply it. Control A. Then I've got some more verts to work with here. O for proportional, G. And here, if you want it to be a little bit more rocky now and you still want to have the control, change from smooth here on proportional to random. And when you grab one here now, it starts to randomize these. And I'm going to decimate it as well, so it's not so uniformed. So let's mess around with it. Why is there like a lullaby on the music? So venturing into higher poly stuff here now. G. So G. Oh, that's too much. There. And then we can do, I think I'm going to do, it could be tricky to integrate the rock stuff into the rock here, but I'm going to try. So what could be the best option? I could do a reverse extrude maybe. Let's try that. What happens if I extrude it down? Oop, too much. Maybe I'll select a few down. I think I need to flatten it first and select some edges. G. Oh, speaking of parking spaces, the game, this song that's on in the background now, it's actually, I composed that one. It's a chip style music from Parking Spaces, the game. I'll turn it up a little bit. So we should do, let's do O proportional again. I think I still need to shape this a little bit further. Give it more character. Just use the proportional to change it. And then I need here, it needs to come so I can actually integrate it. Control G. Maybe I'll do a little ladder or something as well down here. So let's see if I can select these. I'm going to indent the rocks a little bit now, if I can. What happens if I do E to extrude here? Oh, We'll do scale, proportional. No, that's not good. O, proportional off, scale, G. I'm gonna put some sort of a stair, wood stairs in the base there, and a ladder. And then proportional. Oops, delete. Press H a lot to hide it by mistake. We'll try to give this a little bit more character. And I'm going to move this whole lighthouse down a little bit again. G. Back here. And now I'm going to try to decimate this, I think. See. Select it. O proportional. G. And now decimate to there, and then I'll apply it to. And maybe we can extrude the whole thing into like a clip thing. So if I mark a few of those, like this, E to extrude, S to scale. I have proportional, but that's okay. And then here I'm going to Control Shift select G to move that, R to rotate. Put some cliffs here too. I'm going to break them off a little bit as well to get... another thing you could do is, maybe we should try that actually. I'll do Shift D to duplicate it. O for proportional off, rotate. Scale them, rotate, and E to extrude, S to scale. Oop. E to extrude, S to scale, rotate. Get some separate rocks. Shift select a bunch. Maybe like that. Shift D, rotate, G, E to extrude, S to scale, E to extrude, S to scale. I should work faster. Dragging it out. Literally dragging it out. G to move. Alright. So, looks like a broken eggshell now. That's okay. Let's do it again. There. Shift D, rotate. And E to extrude, S to scale, E to extrude, S to scale, E to extrude, R to rotate, S to scale. And then proportional O, G, and then some stressful music on, not that that's needed for this pace, snail pace. Alright, let's figure out what we can do here. I'm gonna break it up a little bit to get this into, this one's too sharp, proportional off maybe now. And I think I'm gonna do separate, I'm trying to figure out how I should do the rocks here. Shift D, maybe I should do loose steps instead. I often type in values as well. If I want it to be 20 centimeters, I do E to extrude and then put 0.2. Then I know that that's a 20 centimeter step. It's a little bit taller than you would probably use as for a human. But then you know roughly where it is. G. And then I would probably put this one down and get that underface there. And I wouldn't necessarily struggle too hard to try to make everything into the same object. I'm quite happy with this one being separate geometry inside, because now I can do L to select the length and G to move it if I want. So let's move this in a little bit more. O for proportional, G. Oh yeah, here's another one. And when I move this one with G now, it moves also that step that I created. Then you might want to do Alt O, and it takes away the center there. And if you do that, then it doesn't affect the geometry that is not linked. So that could be quite good. Let's grab it up to there. This is going to be a steep, very steep thing, so I'll probably have to change it a little bit. G. It's going to be the most dangerous thing ever to walk up. Shift D to duplicate. Okay, I'll have to move it out further. So let's do L to select link, Shift D, rotate, G, and Shift D. I can jumble them a little bit later on. L to select link, Shift D to duplicate. There we go. And then I'm gonna just carry on. These have to go in still. It's not possible. It's gonna be dangerous enough. Imagine this one has got some water on it too. So I'll do E again maybe to extrude it further. No, that's a terrible, terrible idea. There. E to extrude maybe. S to scale. I'm gonna fill this in now anyway with the other rocks, so I think we should be alright. L to select the linked, G, and then rotate. Proportional off maybe, Shift D, Shift D. We can fix it in post. L. L. If it's difficult to see, you can do Alt Z, then you see X-ray mode. It could still be quite difficult to see, but it's possible. Rotate. Alright, Shift D, moved. I just, usually to reposition, to move it, I just use the middle mouse key so I can rotate the viewport. Because then when I do G, I know that all the movement is exactly perpendicular to the way I'm looking at the camera. So if I wanted to move it out a little bit, I'll rotate the camera and do G, rotate down and G. So I usually like to view it just from different angles all the time. And it doesn't really matter if it pokes through like that. Sometimes it's easy to get a little bit thinking that geometry can't poke through, but it can. G and G. Let's just do. Now I'm going to start manipulating some of the edges as well instead. You get used to seeing as well. Another thing with Alt Z, if you see it, these little dots indicate the faces when they're transparent, so a little bit easier. And I also just rotate the camera like a bit like this to know which dot belongs to, so I can see that this dot there belongs to that face, because then it's easier to grab it, and you can do Alt C again, bring that in, and Alt T. And we're nearly up to the top here now. And I will just change them around a little bit. And then I'm gonna move this face in a little bit. It can be a bit wider. To me, it doesn't really bother me. The game engine is so fast anyway as well to filter stuff out. And if you're just rendering it, it doesn't matter either with some interior stuff. So imagine if you were to try to model this now, instead with trying to work off the same object, you'd have so many unnecessary polygons, you wouldn't even believe it. So sometimes it's easier to work by just make a hole for whatever you want to create and then add some separate geometry. And these nearly looks like slabs of rocks. So scale, can scale them a bit. That one, G. And again, the less perfect it is, the better, luckily enough for me. Another thing to break off these sharp edges a little bit could be, I do this quite a bit. I select a bunch of lines like this. I 2 into edge select, or you're up here. Select a few of these, and even that one could do. And that one, that one, that one, that one. And now Control B we can try, and that bevels it. And then I usually select one of these and do scale, because you don't want it exactly uniform like this, but S to scale it, and then 2 to select the edge select, and S to scale this one down, and then G, you can just move that face somewhere. GG slides vertex. So if I wanted to move this vertex down, instead of like trying to align myself and do G to move it roughly, then you can do G and then G again, and it slides it on an angle like that. So very handy. So now we've got some stuff. Let's check out the comments here. I'm going to look for @Invencia here. Oh, sorry, music volume. Pardon. My bad. Music is pretty loud now. It should be back to normal now. There we go. Music. You've been saying for ages. Music is loud. I need my assistant. I don't have an assistant. The Gamers Level Up used to run down and help me up. Now she's too busy doing stuff herself, which is good. Where the music go? I just turned it down. But normal is too low. Okay, let's... How about that? I was enjoying the loud music. Yeah, that suppressed me. Okay, I found somewhere middle ground now, but it's some weird music now, so it's alright. The music wasn't bothering me. I should just mute myself instead. Okay. And again, I try to avoid... do at Infantia, and if the music is too loud or whatever, then I'm going to try to look in about 25 minutes and fix the volume. Okay, I have to do some room now. We have to have the entrance here somewhere. So I think I'm going to do G. This is... I mean, imagine how difficult it would be to build this out here. So I'll forgive them for having a little bit... not perfect. There, G. And then here, now I'm going to do a door of some sort. And I think I'm going to do I to inset. And then I should just E to extrude it. Okay, so here we got an issue now, because now I need to move the rock formation inside here. So to do that, instead of doing that, I can do L to select the link, H to hide it. And now we need to make room here. So I'll select this one. Okay, is this in the same object? Okay, the reason why is because I hid the geometry. I'll do Alt-H again. So instead, I'll have to hide this whole object, tab out of edit mode, and then H to hide this whole thing. And only... Oh, Richard Terrell! Thank you so much for the super chat. Awesome channel. Thank you. Thank you so much for your contribution. Very much appreciated. I like it. Oh, we got Ekto as well. In my opinion, I think the rock looks too uniform. Looks like a sphere with some jagged areas rather than a rock. Yeah, okay. We'll fix that. We can fix that based on your feedback there. So, but first I'm gonna do... I think I'm just gonna indent this E to extrude this one and scale. I just need to have some a room like this, and it'll look a bit weird like that, but that's okay, because now we can do Alt-H to unhide this one again, and now this entrance should work here. So I to inset. Okay, that didn't work. I to inset. Try again. And then E to extrude. And then if I do -1, then I know that I set it in about 1 meter. So I know, but then I'll move it out. I just wanted to know roughly how far in it was. So for now, I'm just going to make a darker hole here so we can operate. Maybe we can put a door there separate. So I'm going to do G, make it a little bit darker gray, and then that one, and then do black. It's just so we can put a door here at some point. I'll probably move it out a little bit further. So in order to fix the rock, I agree. It depends if you want to do like a natural formed rock, or if you sometimes they're a lot more stylized. And I found to be able to do maybe, I think I need to do, should we do some more blocks first? I'm trying to think. Because what I like to do is a period, I should just do instead, comma, and then normal. Then if I select multiple faces here like these, and then you can scale it on the normal, scale, Z, and then 0, and that flattens it out. So sometimes it's nice to get, if you want, I've seen a lot of low poly art where it actually looks a bit more, well, let's try it a little bit. Instead of having those jagged ones, so I'll mark those, scale, Z, 0. Then you can start getting those a little bit flatter regions. So if we do, maybe we'll do the same here. Not that one. Scale Z0. Like that. And then maybe we could... And sometimes in that case, you probably want these edges to be a little bit narrower. So maybe we can do G. I don't know, something like that. Just to get, and then we can start doing some cracks too. Can't start doing some cracks. That sounded bad. So let's say we wanted the crevice here. Could try maybe E to extrude, S to scale, and then usually to fake like an ambient occlusion, you can do Control plus there, change it to a slightly darker gray, and then Control minus on the keypad and go nearly black there. Because then you can get like cracks in the formation there. And then you might want to break these off a little bit too, like we did before. So if I select all of this, maybe not all of it, but let's do there. Control B to bevel. And then we can change it up a little bit and make some of them wider. Scale, and this one, GG, good game. GG, slider. And then you could branch off some other cracks too, I guess. So we can work on that. And here we could do the same, something here. I think the good thing, like I mentioned before as well, if you do break it off a few pieces and create separate rocks, is that you get a little bit more freedom to delete or change them. So I'll do that again, I think. Shift D to duplicate, rotate. I'll scale them up a bit. G. I wonder if I put it in there. Scale. I'm actually going to scale this one up quite a lot and try. Rotate. I'm going to try a little bit. I can always delete it. Yeah, that's the nice thing. If you're not in a rush. Why would you be in a rush? E to extrude, S to scale. And then C. Control R you can do as well. Loop cut still works. G. Control R if you want some more lines. G. And then here. Maybe I can do Shift D again. It's like a bit more terraced. That looks not like a terraced house. L. G. 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 I don't know. And then select the edges, Control B to bevel, and then change the scaling a bit. I like to work a little bit cartoon. I'm not trying to do realistic. No kidding, Sherlock. No, S. I said that wrong. Never mind. So, there. Anyway. I don't know. Control R. I think I want to do G. E to extrude. It's too uniform here, so that's what's disturbing me. S to scale that on. Scale. G. Alright. I guess you could also do rock formations, so it looks. This looks like a cake now suddenly. So I'm going to take that one away a bit. That's probably what's disturbing me, that it looks like a cake. So let's make it not like a cake. Delete that one. I'm going to do a separate rock here instead. So I'm going to take those. Let's grab another few faces here. The more random, the better. Shift D. Let's put a rock here. Scale Z, because I'm still on normal there. And scale Z will flatten it even. Or even invert it, we could do. E to extrude, S to scale. E to extrude, S to scale. And then L to select the linked. Let's wedge it into here. And O proportional, G. And then just eyeball it. So I don't want them to intersect too much here because I want it to look like it's been, like that it's resting. It doesn't matter if it goes through a little bit. But as long as the main stuff doesn't intersect. Maybe scale. There. G. Okay. I think I want to extrude this one. E to extrude. S. Oh, too much proportional. S to scale. Rotate. G. It's fell off to there. A rock. Separate rock. It's laying there. Okay. We should put something more organic here too. Some type of wood stuff, I guess. First I want to split this one to Control B. And then change G. Oh. GG. Scale. G. Okay, what should we put here? I'm going to make this a little bit darker too. Again, to fake shadow a bit. So Control plus. A little bit darker gray. And then this, I'm going to go a little bit darker again. Pops a little bit more. Okie dokie. So some once upon a time, I also did quite sharp ones, so like cliffs. So I'm going to do proportional again, bring that out. I think I did something like this. I marked a few random ones like this. I don't know if this will work here. Let's try it. I'm probably not going to keep it, but I just wanted to show it. It might work in your whatever it is that you're doing. I think I did something like that. It nearly looked like crystals or something. So I selected a few of those, and then I did, let's see, proportional of E to extrude, G. I'm going to take these away again. Just wanted to show. Scale, E to extrude, G, scale. I did something on a volcano or something, and it looked like really sharp cliffs. Now it looked terrible, so I'm going to Control Z it. All right, so we need to put little windows here, maybe. One thing which is neat is when you add stuff, it's always easier when you have stuff that, like, let's say you wanted to create something exterior. Let's say I wanted to put another ring or something here. I can do Alt, select these, Shift D to duplicate them, scale them out, scale Z. Okay, I'm still on normals, that's why. Scale, there. Scale Z, and then you can do all the extrude long face normals. So adding outwards on an object is always easier because you can add geometry and add stuff outwards. The problem is when you want to go in, because then there's no good way to really avoid getting more geometry. So if I wanted to have windows going in here, I could do bool operations. I tend to not work with those too much. So to put windows here on this one, I'd probably go Control R to loop cut, Control R, Control R, Control R, and then I'll select maybe those two where I want them. Control G. Let's put one there and one there, shall we? I to inset, and then Alt D, extrude long face normals. So in order to go in, either bool operations to do it, or keep the control like that to get those. I'm just going to keep them like little dark windows there, I think. That's it. And then we need, what should we have then? We should have some lights and stuff, I think. Or a fence here, you don't want to fall down. Feels like, I think I've done something very similar to this now, come to think of it. Last year or something, earlier last year. So let's get a square face, this one, Shift D, bring it in, scale it down a bit, G, slide it in. Doesn't need to be square, but we can do circle here to make it square. Scale Z 0, scale it down even further, and then E to extrude 1, then I know that that one's 1 meter, so we'll do a little bit taller, so I'll do, let's see, I've still got extrude on. Yeah, Control Z out of it. E 1 point, oh, keep doing it wrong. E 1.2 meters, and it's too thick. So scale Shift Z and bring it down to there, and then we can start putting. Now I'm realizing that the scale is a little bit off because this is a 1 meter high pole, so I see everything is a little bit too big. So I'm probably going to do everything a little bit too big and then scale it down afterwards instead. So it makes it, like if I have a reference character, I'd put that there. So let's just make it look alright for now. So I'll put some wood, wood bolt. Losing my voice. G. There we go. L. Rotate. And then O proportional, smaller, and then don't make them all uniform. And then I'm gonna put L. I don't know how they got these wood things to stay here, but that's okay. And then Shift D to duplicate, rotate. Shift D, rotate. Shift D to rotate. Shift D. Oh, and then here, to get the top bar, I usually just pick whatever, this one, Shift D to duplicate it, E to extrude it, and then here, either just G to move it, but it's too thick. L, scale it down. G, top view, 7 on the keypad, R to rotate. And then either extrude it just to keep the same wood. I'd probably consider using separate, but let's do it just for simplicity. I'll do E to extrude again, R to rotate. You could also control right click just, that'll extrude it as well. And then E to extrude again. Okay, I'll control top view, rotate, and control right click. There. And then I'll just finish this one there. And again, it's meant to be like woody, so it doesn't have to be perfect. Control R, loop cut. And if it goes through, that's fine too. Control R, scale, Control R, scale. Control R, scale. Again, do not make everything uniform. Like that. And then here we can figure out, maybe we'll put a fake chain or something. Here, should have put that down there as well, maybe. So Shift D to duplicate, scale Z, rotate. There's loads of ways you could do it. I think I'm gonna do scale Z, rotate. I'm gonna make this like a black color instead. And then we're just gonna fake it a little bit. So we'll do from this view maybe, E to extrude. Or what should I do? Could be like wrought iron or whatever it's called. Rotate. Rotate. One thing I don't like with control right click is that I find it quite difficult to know exactly where it's going. I find I've got, even if it's a little bit more tedious, I find that rotating the face like this from different viewport angles is easier for me often, because when I control right click now, I find it difficult to know. But whereas I extrude it like this and scale it and rotate it, I feel I've got often a little bit more control. So it's only when I make, in certain cases, that I like to use the other one. And then to correct things, I do Control G sometimes, or Control Plus. E to extrude. And actually, do you know what? We can just do use proportional instead. So we'll do. Should I do that all along? Do you know what? Control Z. Let's do this instead. Let's try this approach. Let's try it. E to extrude all the way to here. Let's go all the way down. I haven't tried this before. Let's try it. This is how I come up with stuff. I just try. Control R, loop cut a whole bunch. Let's see. I've got no idea if this is going to work. Like that. And then proportional O. And linked is off, so that's good. And then I'm just going to do Alt select there and G. And then we'll just see Alt select and G. And then I'll Alt select there and G. Alt select, or no, I can just pick that face. Scale it down, G. I don't even know what this is. This is, it was meant to be some, I don't know, chain, rope, wood, I don't know. I should think what it is first. What happens if we do random? Scale. scale. I don't know. Scale. As long as it looks alright from a distance, I guess it doesn't really matter. It's my motto. And that makes no sense that it's actually doing, like, hanging up there. So we'll do Alt select there, G. I guess you should really know what it is that you're trying to make. If it is a rope or is it modeling, but I don't know. That looks like something at least. Maybe we can fake it as well. We'll do a double L to select the link, Shift D to duplicate it, bring it down to there, and then we'll randomize it. Let's semi-randomize it. And here we can't have it go through there, can we? So Control R. Alright. That'll do. Whatever it is. Let's have a check. Remember, at Infense, if you got any questions, add vines on the lighthouse or moss on the rocks or small rocks next to the rock so it looks like rock on water. Okay, I'm gonna, so some vines, we could try to add some, I think I'm gonna add a little bit of green stuff here and then vines climbing up from it, and that climbs up maybe. Could you add in a rotating light? Yeah, we could probably add some lights later on. I'll finish the modeling. Usually I tend to do most of this stuff just for modeling for game assets, so I don't really do that much rendering and light setting inside of Blender usually. But maybe we can add that too. I think up here I want to add a little greenery platform. So this is where they'd go out to socialize. Out here. Oh, proportional G. G. And then G. That's a mad cliff. There. So I'm gonna flatten this somewhat. And remember what we did before to flatten it. It was maybe not that one. Not that one. So, comma, normal, scale, 0. That flattens it quite nicely. There's also flatten here that you could do. That does the same. But with the scaling, you get control of it. So we could have that little platform there. I'm going to add some grass up here now. So I'll shift select a bunch of these. And we could try by just doing Shift D to duplicate it first, scale it down a little bit, G to move it down, and E to extrude it up. Scale it again, but with less proportional maybe. There, G, and then L to select the link, and then pick like a brown color. So it's a bit of dirt up here now. And then we could also do grass on top of that. So I'll do Shift selector there. And E to extrude, S to scale. I'll do proportional off now because it's such a small thing. Control plus, let's put some green there. And then Control minus on the right side. And if I change my mind here, you can always just delete it. So this looks too perfect still, so I'm gonna take it off. O, proportional, G. And then GG. 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 There you go, some grass there. That's perfect. It's like a... Oh, do you know what? You can stand there and hit golf balls. Golf balls. Golf balls. So you say, sounded weird. Alt Z. Let's grab that vertex. G. This reminds me of the game that I made for Ludum Dare. The golf and grenades, actually. Store event. Epic mega sale. All right. Cool. GG. GG. There you go. I think I'm gonna need some more crevices and cracks and stuff too, and some more rocks too. But there's a little nice grass. It makes me want to be here. And then some vines climbing up, you said. So maybe I'll just grab that. Shift E, scale it down. And E to extrude, S to scale. L to select the link, G. How am I doing for time? I've already been at it an hour. L. I'm definitely rusty when it comes to modeling anyway. I can feel that. So I've been occupied doing a lot of other stuff for the time being. So this is the thickest vine I've ever seen. So let's do X, limited dissolve to get rid of that face, G to move that in. And then, should we do the same? I don't know if I want, let's do E to extrude. Let's try that same method like we did before. And all the way to there, scale it down to there. Control R, loop cut it a whole bunch of times to there. And then O for proportional. And then we'll do G to move, rotate. I'm gonna change it up a little bit too. L. Let's see, up here I'm gonna have to do all the way around to there, I think. Control plus a few times, because I need to G move this whole thing, rotate it first apparently. And then it needs to be rotated. Should we have comma? Normal is already rotated. We need to do rotate. G. Okay, it's too difficult. G. G. And then I guess we can start branching this off too. This looks like the Jack and the Beanstalk now. But we can branch this off, I guess. E to extrude. Let's do the same thing here, see if that works. So E to extrude to there, scale it down, Control R, loop cut a whole bunch of times. Select that one, Control plus to grow, literally, inverted grow. Even more. Rotate, smaller, G. Okay, I'm not happy with that, of course. Control plus. Let's see, rotate. It's rotating off the wrong thing. Oh, I've still got proportional. Let's see, rotate. Proportional. G. Rotate. G. Okay, this is a stupid way to do it. Let's do it another way. L to select the link. Let's try this with the skin modifier instead. So I'm gonna try to take this one instead. Shift E to duplicate that vertex to here. And then I'm gonna do, let's try this one instead. E to extrude to there. And then I'm gonna do, should I do Control right click G? Control right click G. Control right click. So I'll follow up here. Control right click. E to extrude, G to move. And then we can just branch it off here instead. So, and E to extrude. E to extrude. E to extrude. Some pop elevator music now. And then here, E to extrude. E to extrude. G to move. E to extrude. G. And E to extrude. E to extrude. All right. So what did you do on Thursday? I watched someone E to extrude the whole time. E to extrude. G. E to extrude. Here, branch off again. E to extrude. E to extrude. I'm gonna keep saying it. You know what key it is, bro. E. E to extrude. G. It'll make sense in a minute, I think. E to extrude. E to extrude. E to extrude. E to extrude. I'm not even scaling. Should we go around all the way to here? E. I'm not even going to say to extrude now. Just E. E to extrude. I'm going to say it anyway. Okay. Alt Z, remember? If it disappeared into the geometry and you can't find it, just do Alt Z. E to extrude. It's music. E to extrude. Okay, so there's one thing we can do to save ourselves a little bit of time. Here, on snapping, do face snapping. And then hold the control key. So E to extrude, and then hold the control key. That'll face snap it to there. E to extrude, hold it. E to extrude, hold. E to extrude, hold. E to extrude. Hold the control key, remember. So here, E to extrude, hold the control key. E to extrude. Control key. The reason why it still goes through is because it's snapping to there, but in general I think it should work. So if I do G to move it and control move it, that should do. You can also change it here to edge as well. So if I wanted to extrude this one to the edge here, E to extrude to that edge, that might be better because E to extrude to that edge, and then we can control R and G to move it a little bit. So E to extrude to the edge. There. Maybe that. E to extrude to that edge. And we'll do one more. E to extrude, edge, E to extrude. Hold the control key, E to extrude, E to extrude. So, E to extrude, control, hold the control key. I'm on edge snapping, so that should work. So, there we go. I think that should be sufficient. Control R still works as well. So loop cutting, even though if it's just like these things like that. Let's try this. So I'm going to separate this now. L to select the linked. P, separate by selection. And then on this one now, if I can remember correctly, we add the skin modifier. There, skin. And it's a little bit too thick. But we can do control. Let's see now. Tab into edit mode, Alt Z to see it, and then Control A actually changes the thickness. So instead of S, it's not S. Control A changes the thickness. So if we do the tips here, and here's another one, I think if I remember it, do Shift G when you selected this one. Select similar, and then do amount of adjacent faces. No, okay, Shift G. Amount of connecting edges. Then it selects all the tips because all the other ones here, apart from this one, have got connections to others. So it'll select all the ones. And then Control A, and we can scale those down. And proportional should work here. Control A. So we can get this shrunken down a little bit like that. And then similarly, we'll do this one, Control A. And with proportional, we should be able to like shrink that one up. So, and then we should be able to colorize it, right? So, G, A. Okay, so I can't actually. And I'm guessing I have to convert it to, in order to colorize it in my normal way. I think I need to do, I'll do Shift D to duplicate this, so I've got it here. And then we'll just apply this one. A to select all of them. And then, okay. Reset. Scale 0. And there we go. So some vines there. Looks like it's grabbing hold of it. All right. I wonder if you could do. You could do. It's too thick. But it's all right. It should be viewed from a distance like that, so it's all right. One thing I'm thinking is that do face select. You can do L to select all the faces, and then do F3 and then type random, select random. And then you can do expand this thing down here and then change it to deselect and then increase like there. So then you can actually select a bunch of those. And I'm thinking the way I was wondering is because then we can do O proportional, which we already had. And we'll try. Let's see what we got here. Okay, so that's not what I wanted. I wanted Alt S scale individual. So S scales everything uniformly like this from a common center, but Alt S scales them individually. So you could have like changed it a little bit. Okay, that looked super weird. Alt S, scale it down instead. There. I don't know. And if you wanted to do another one, it'd be quite tedious. All right, let's figure out here. I'll put something here as well. Shift D, E to extrude, S to scale. Do that darker too. Shift D. All right, let's check if there's any questions. Do at where's Rapunzel? Yeah, she'd be here with her hair hanging down somewhere. Put questions at Infancy if you want. I think the vines should be a lighter color. Oh, maybe yeah. Should we try it? I think I like them darker, like dark green. Looked a bit more mystic. Too dark maybe. So if you got any questions, oh, okay, you got some here. Matt Walker, Infancia taught me Blender. Lol. I already made models, but I use Unreal Editor when I made the jump to Unreal Engine. I was gutted. The 3D modeling bit was gone, and Blender was so confusing. It's good that you learned Blender. Infancia can use snap to other object. That's true too. Oh, another door by the area there. That probably would have been working. Or we can put a ladder. Or something. How should they get up there? Because you can't... Oh yeah, you could get out here. Maybe we'll just modify this one. Alt. And then I'll select... maybe this one too, and that one, this one, and that one. G. No, that's not good. I'll just select these faces then. G. And then here I'll just put Shift D, scale. We'll put a big slab here so they can just walk out. E to extrude. That'll work. L, darker. And I think I'll just do Shift D again, scale, E to extrude, wood step. There you go. And then, what should we put more there? So we've got a vine there, we've got this one. Should we put a little, I don't know, like a light here? Shift D, duplicate, scale down, G, welcome home light here. L, dark, or wood we can do. L, comma, we'll do local. That makes no sense. Scale it down. Comma, operate on normals instead. Normal is the face that's perpendicular to whatever it is you've selected. So if you're working off the world's axes, so because we're not really operating in one specific axis, so when you do comma and select normal, then these will face in whatever direction the is perpendicular to the face, so it helps a lot when you, because if you wanted to extrude this one straight out, then it's quite handy to do it that way. We'll do. How would a lantern look like? Could do. Maybe I'll do this whole thing. Shift D, duplicate. That's the biggest lantern in the world. Right click, subdivide, circle, scale it down. Fastest way I know how to make a cylinder without actually doing Shift A to add something. Scale X, limited dissolve G, black. I think it's whatever you're used to that gets you there the fastest. And then we'll do E to extrude, E to extrude, E to extrude, E to extrude. I don't even know what a lantern looks like. Now I'll do Alt select, Alt Shift select, I to inset, and Alt S to scale them down, and just make them orange there. I'm not doing any emissive stuff for this one. It's just modeling today. E to extrude, S to scale, E to extrude, L, scale it down, scale it up. And it could be a little door here as well. Or a little roof, I guess. Where did my... There. Shift D, scale. G, scale. Homely, right? Not really. Extrude, that's the scale. Wood. There you go. And some more rocks, maybe. Everything's rocks. E to extrude, that's the scale. Just to break up those lines a little bit. All right, so we've got that. Here's where the boat comes along. I don't even know what you need to attach a boat to there. Some sort of a pier of some sort. Probably want to break this one up. Control B. Scale. GG. Here's if you get too many verts like this. You just multiple select a few like that. And do M and then merge at center, for example. Collapses them into one. And then we have an issue here because this one's poking away into nothingness. So remember, just if you want to get rid of them, multiple select M, merge at center. Merges them. And if you want to snap them together too, here's another one you can do. Select here, vertex snapping. Hold the control key, snap it to there. Select L for the length and M, and by distance, that'll take away all the vertices that are overlapping too. So that's another way to tidy up verts like that. Any chance you could do Indiana Jones theme next Thursday? I don't know. What would that even be? Apart from India, of course. Like the Raiders of the Lost Ark. Don't they need another small door to get on the grass? That's how I already answered that one, actually. Let's check here. Thanks, Breadbuster. It's been a long time, though, since I modeled, so I'm like even thinking about what to... I get a lot of questions, how do you know what to model? And I say, just pick simple objects and do it over and over again. But even at this point, it's like, okay, what should I add now? It's just use your imagination. Use Google sometimes, too, if you go like Lighthouse. But well, let's see. And then you could just look at the chat, of course. Seagulls. Yeah, Shift A, add cylinder. Let's try. So I don't know why I always opt for that other way to do it. It's because I do it so often. But Shift A, circle. Let's see. It's because then I would add it as a separate object. And I always used to work in the same object. So I guess I could tab out of this mode. Shift A, add mesh, add cylinder. G to move it to where I wanted to, but then I'd have to, when I add it as well, Usually, when I do low poly, I always nearly want just quad cylinders. So I'm just thinking of the different workflow would be like, okay, let's say I wanted to, let's do a test actually. So let's say I wanted a cylinder here. To do it the other way, I'd tab out, shift right click to get to where I want it, shift A, add mesh, add cylinder, and then I'd change my faces to 8. And then tab into edit mode, scale it down, scale Z, or change this one back into global, scale Z. So then I've got that one, and then I'd need to bring the material over. Either I'd have to go to the material here and click the material and do it, but there's a way to do it, a faster way. And that's to select that one, shift select this one, and do Control L and link materials. That copies the material over to, but then I'd have to redo this stuff. So I'd have to mark all the faces, scale 0, and then put it to the color. So I think that's why I just prefer, I'm so used to the workflow instead to add the cylinder to just, since I'm in this object, I'll pick those two, like that one. Shift D, duplicate the X, limited dissolve, right click, subdivide, and then circle. And then I've got my, like the round face. And if I wanted it flat before, then I'll do scale Z0. Scale Z0. Why is that? Oh, it's because I had normal. So I think that's why I'm just so used to doing it that way, because I get it to where I want and stuff. All right, so a dock, a barrel, and a small boat. Let's start with a barrel then. Speaking of cylinder, so I'll still do it that way. I'll do Shift D to duplicate, G, comma, global, scale Z0, X, limited, it's all right click, subdivide, circle. Oh! What happened then? That's interesting. I messed something up. I wonder what I did. Is it this one? This feels broken. I'll have to try it again. Shift D. Circle. Ooh. I don't actually know what has happened then. Never experienced that. Okay. Any takers? I'll have to try again on this one. Shift D, right click, subdivide, circle. It's weird, it's not working. I've broken it. Why? Shift D, right click, subdivide. Shift D, right click, subdivide, circle. Have I got some weird proportions or something? Is the scale messed up? Sometimes the scale is off, so everything is funny. Yeah, I thought it was the scale. And even if it's the same normal pin, I would have thought that. Let's try again. I need to figure out what's going on. Shift D. Scale Z0 then. Let's try that one. Right click, subdivide. Circle. Ha! Totally broken. I always do that. That's like my workflow. Comma. Global. Scale Z0. Right click, subdivide, circle. What? My favorite workflow is broken. I refuse to believe it. I'm gonna reload it. Just I want to see. I restart Blender. Some hidden point is chosen. Yeah. Let's try it again. There's only four. There's 4 faces only to it. Shift D. It's only 4 vertices. The center is all the way over there, but that should be alright. Right click, subdivide, scale Z0, and circle. Oh, okay. Now it's working. So something was. I just restarted Blender. Let's try it on this one that I did too then. Because here's where it broke for me. Shift D, X, limited dissolve, right click, subdivide, circle. Yeah, now it's working. Scale Z0, circle. All right. I thought it was going really stupid for a while. More than stupid than normal. Gee, I think I did a barrel not long ago, right? It's actually tilting here. I need to flatten this. E to extrude, E to extrude, E to extrude. Control R, Alt S to scale, L scale, Shift Z, or scale Shift Z. I to inset, E to extrude. Guess I'll do the 2 bands. Should I do them? It's very dark. Let's go brighter. Maybe I'll do that one. I can never remember where the bands go on the barrel. Let's change that one. Shift D. Oop. Shift D to duplicate. Comma. I always do that wrong. Period. Individual origins. Scale Z. Alt D. Extrude long face normals. L to select the linked, L to select the linked, go darker. This is a weird barrel. I should have checked what they look like again. And then we'll do 2 bands here as well, I guess. So I'm going to do Shift D to duplicate. Control R. Control R. It's just to get them in the right place, if that's where it is. Actually, let's put them here. Control R. Control R. And then I'll delete these. Okay, delete faces. And delete or Control plus. Okay, let's do L, hide, H. Then I get the right ones. Delete faces. Alt H to unhide again. L to select the linked, L to select the linked. Alt E, extrude long face normals. L. I don't know what type of barrel this is. Different. Strange. And I don't know why it'd be full of water where it is here. It feels like it's not fitting here. L. Okay, not individual origin, medium points. It needs to be that big, but where should I put it? Would it makes more sense though that why would it be down by the pier? Maybe the water bottle should be, or Should be up here. That's a big barrel. I'll place it there. That's totally out of place, but it's there at least. Let's see what else do that. Yeah, you could make it into a separate object. I tend to do everything in the same object. And then I can borrow the faces and stuff. Should we do... maybe we'll do here. Can I extrude this in a bit? Little secret thing. Carved out in stone. G. Control... Oh, I don't want to do that. There to there. Control B. Okay, not there. Just this one then. Control B. GG. Control B. GG. James Bond entrance nearly. Can you show us your mouse control? Oh, is that hidden? Oh, sorry, I've actually... It's meant to be like this. So I've gone ultra wide, so I didn't actually realize that I'd sent it off screen. Sorry about that. I think I want to put another crack here somewhere. Should we go all the way down to here, maybe? I to inset and Alt S to scale. That shrinks it down. Alt S. Scale it down. G. Too dark. That looks a bit better, I think. And then we could do something here as well, maybe. Maybe some more cracks. I to inset, E to extrude, scale, and darker. Now I'm in crack mode here. We need another one here. I to inset, Alt S to scale, and scale, and break it down. There we go. I'm gonna do, I think I'm gonna do this at least. I'm not gonna do waves or anything, but I'll do E to extrude, just like that. This stone is very weird. It doesn't make sense that it's bending like that, so. Alt Z, G. Control R. Still doesn't make sense. But it's okay. I think we've got some weird... Oh no, that's the shadow. Sometimes the shadow... I often model with shadow enabled and it can throw you off sometimes thinking that something's broken. Unless it is actually a face there that is broken. Easy one to find out is just to disable shadow. Yeah, so it's the shadow that's throwing you off a little bit there. Here, two plane here. Big crack. I to inset. S to scale. Alt S to scale in, I guess. E to extrude. S to scale. G to move it down. Control plus, and then slightly darker. Control minus on the keypad and go even more dark. Proportional, maybe? O, G. And then scale smaller, I don't know. We'll crack there too. And What happens if you break away a few things like this? Shift the scale, E to extrude, S to scale. Don't know why I did that. That makes no sense. So let's get rid of it. I'm gonna try this again. Scale Z. Flatten a few areas. Scale Z. I don't know. Alright, let's have a look. Need some palm trees on this side of the cliff near the treehouse. Oh, palm trees. Never even thought that it could be that part of the world. Guess we could put a palm tree there. I just have to do this first, I think. Need to get... Did I move the water? I think I moved the water down. Oh, what happened to this? Oh, it was attached to the water. P. Shift space G. Thought it looked a bit weird. If you want to change the pivot point that's all the way down there, if you have an object like this, you can right click and do set origin to center of mass, then you get it roughly to where you want it. So, could be a trick. Oh, a dock in a rowboat as well. Palm tree dock in a rowboat. Okay, so I'll start with the rowboat then. So I'll use it off the water, I think. The water is wonky. All right, I'll do it the... Okay, I'll do shift right click, tab, shift A, mesh cube. And shift select this one, control L, link materials, tab A scale 0, and a dark boat. Proportional off. And then we should do, I guess I can just do, how should we do it? Scale Y. Scale Y. Simplest boat ever. E to extrude. Scale Y. I'll move it up so it'll be easier to model. Control R. Select. Scale it down. E to extrude. Scale it down. Control plus. Scale. I'm gonna hide it in the water anyway, I think so. Comma. Global scale X. Height inset. E to extrude. S to scale. Okay, maybe I should do it in 2 stages. E to extrude. S to scale. And then we'll just do some crossbars. Shift D. Scale Y. Scale Z. Okay, I need to flatten it. Scale X0. E to extrude. And I got, hopefully, backface culling is not on. I had a feeling I was extruding that in the wrong direction. And if you're new to the channel, make sure that you have backface culling here when you model. Because you don't want to have inverted faces like this. You can see that it looks really weird. And that's a good way to detect it. Otherwise, it's difficult to know. Because if it's on like this, or off, then it looks perfectly fine. But for game engines, you don't want them to be inverted. So quick fix for that is L and then Shift N, and then that flips the normals on it. So Shift D, let's put one Y on the Y-axis. That could do. So I'm just going to keep it like that, I think. Scale it. I have no idea what scale I'm working on anymore. Scale. Let's make it bigger. Oh, it's full of water. No good. Ah, that presents me with an interesting problem, actually. Like, if you wanted to make a boat in a game, I've never actually needed to do that, like a rowboat. The problem is that if you want to send it down into the water, it would displace the water, but you don't necessarily want it to show through. And the only way, in Line War, I got away with it on the landing craft. That's the only ship that's got no deck. I actually just raised the floor of it and colored it darker to fake it, because it saves you having that problem. But it's a real concern, actually. So in that case, I'd probably do it like this instead. Control plus and just go darker. So you wouldn't really tell that it's shallow, because then you can at least lower it to there without it looking strange. But it's I wouldn't actually necessarily know either how to best fix it in a game where you wanted it to displace. If I'm perfectly honest. I'll make it bigger. It still looks like it's full of water, even if it's black, so it's not really a good solution. It's too big now. That's a massive boat. Scale it down. Alright, we'll just leave it like that. There was something more than a boat as well, wasn't it? I should put some oars in it. Comma, local. If you're in local space, comma, and then do local, then you're still operating in the coordinate system of the boat. Because you can see on item here that it's actually scaled. I should apply the scale. But you don't want to apply the rotation, because you want to, if you are to export it, you want to be able to Alt-R to reset the scale. Reset the rotation. Actually, I'm going to work on it here to do that. Let's just put some oars on it, or else. So Shift D, maybe. Scale Y, scale. I have no idea how big oars are. E to extrude. And then we'll just do E to extrude. These are too long anyway, let's put it that way. E to extrude, E to extrude. That's the scale. Okay, scale Y. Don't want big flappy oars like that. And probably smaller. L. L for the linked scale. I have no idea. Scale. Rotate. G. You wouldn't necessarily keep the oars in the water. You actually just lay them in the boat, I think. Usually they're like, when I grew up, they always used to be like this. Anyway. Then I know roughly how long now, because they fitted in the boat. I think, just about. So I'll put it there, and then Shift D, I'm just going to rough it up. There you go. Ah, well, never mind. That can be a... Alright, let's go. Yeah, you could use a bowline to remove the water. That's true. I mean, it's not a problem for the actual modeling itself. If I wanted to model, like you said, you could bowline it or just carve it out in any ways. You could like dig it out. You could even inset it and stuff and extrude it down. But in a game engine, I was thinking, so let's say that this was an object in Unity, and then you have water. And if you wanted the boat to displace the water, you need to use some sort of a erasive shader that takes away the water at that particular point, so it doesn't render it. Maybe some sort of a Z blocking thing to say you shouldn't render it. That was just a side note, I guess. It feels like this could have been something like a storage cave or something. Maybe we'll put L don't know why. I just felt like I wanted to put something here. It's like a prison. Probably not. Shift D, Y. Here's another Shift D, Y, and then when you got it roughly where you want it, you can do Shift R, and that'll do it multiple times. So I don't know why I'd want to do that. Maybe I'll just put something else in instead. I'll do Scale, Shift Z, and then Shift D, like wood beams of some sort. Rotate. I have no idea what this is yet. I'm just thinking of something. Do thick planks here. Scale Z. And then E to extrude. G. Now I'm going to put another beam here. Shift D to duplicate. You can grab that one. Move it to here. Control R. And O for proportional. G. L to select the link. Shift D. Z for the Z axis. Shift R. L. Scale Z. And again, it feels like it was meant to be some big wood plank thing here. What is this music? I think I downloaded this one for when I did the Wild West stuff. No, circus sounds like some sort of a circus or something. I think it was, oh yeah, it was when I did the cars. I was looking for different themes for the different cars, I think. I don't know which one this one would have been. Scale. Rotate. Okay, now we need to do it a lot darker in here. And again, to fake the darkness in the low poly stuff, do Control plus in there, and then just O proportional of scale 0 on the left side. I am now G, and then just do dark a little bit brighter there. There we go. All right, that's some sort of a wood thing. Let's have a look. It's starting to look like a pirate cave from the Monkey Island game. Oh, Monkey Island. Yes. Did you hear that they're making a new Monkey Island game? Even Ron Gilbert, if I said that right, is involved. The guy who was behind the original Monkey Island. I'm really excited about that. I'm gonna do a flat rock here. Shift D, scale, as if it's like shaved off here. E to extrude. E to extrude. GG. GG. Proportional. It can't be exactly the same shape, so I'll... And then I want to do it again. Like they're coming off. Actually took some pictures on the way home from my kids' school because the water's been freezing on the rocks right next to the walking path. And then it's been freezing and then splitting off the rocks, so it's like big chunks of rocks ready to slide off right where the kids are walking to school. So I had to take some pictures and do my duty as a, I don't know, citizen. Or just to send them in and say, could you get rid of those rocks? Because it wouldn't be so fun if they just split off when the kids are walking there. I even had to tell the school because a lot of trees had fell over. And right behind where my youngest daughter, is playing around in the school, there's like a big hillside or rocks. Similar to this, actually. It doesn't look far off the way this looks, with loose rocks too. And then trees had fell over and they were hanging down just where the kids were playing. And I was a bit surprised. I had to tell the teachers twice, and then I called or sent a message to the head teacher in the end. Oh well, it disappeared in the end. I'm becoming one of those annoying parents, probably. Okay, so we've got some slabs here. They're too uniformed. O proportional scale. There you go. I like that. I like that. It's been like shaved off there. Looks starting to look a little bit dangerous. Oh. G. All right, let's have a look. Moss on the stairs. Okay. So I should actually, before I do that, I should make the stairs a little bit different. I had something in mind again by doing the Control B, scale, and then a few of them like this. Control G, Control B is bevel for anyone who's wondering. Can you bevel a vertex? No, you cannot. Scale. To get the moss, I'd probably, let's see, if I wanted to, on a few of them, let's say we wanted it from here on a few, not on that, oh yeah, on that step, but not this one, we'll do that one. Less and less down here because the water maybe have splashed up to me. So I'll select those, Shift D, I have no idea if I'm going to do this or not. P to separate, because this one I wanted a separate material or a separate object. A to select all of them, and then do a dark green moss here. We could even desaturate it a bit like that. There. And maybe to, let's see, how should we do? We can do Control R. That's no good. Oh, okay, I'm gonna subdivide it like Control 4. But I'll do modifier simple again. And then I'm going to do Control A to apply it. Then I've got loads of these. That's fine. Then I'm going to do Control T to triangulate it. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to do select a few of them like this. Maybe. I'm just trying different techniques. Usually this is how I just test stuff. Maybe it wouldn't make sense that it was moss right where you come out, right? Because you'd be stepping on it all the time. So we'll put it on the side here instead. Maybe something like this. Just testing things out. And then Control plus a few times like that. Maybe. Control I to invert the selection. Delete vertices. No, delete faces. A to select everything maybe. And then we could do decimate modifier on this. Bring it down to there maybe. I have no idea. This is probably a stupid idea. E to extrude. I don't know. Looks weird. But it's okay. Yeah, I like it. No, I don't. I do. Maybe. Maybe if I can get it to hang over a bit. Rotate Z, G, proportional off. How do you best, I want to E to extrude, S to scale. Of course, how do you, that's the best always. E to extrude, S to scale, R to rotate. And then maybe add G. Maybe add G. Okay. G. E to extrude. Comma, normal, and then you can rotate around the y-axis. E to extrude, S to scale, rotate y-axis, G, if you want it to hang down a bit. Rotate y-axis, because that's the y-axis of the actual normal there. E to extrude, S to scale, and then maybe if we wanted to split it, we would do Control R, and then select those two, E to extrude. Okay, and then period, and do individual origins, scale, and then do just one of them there. Feels like a long time to do something that simple. Probably loads of better ways. Let's do Control R, E to extrude, rotate Y, E to extrude, rotate Y. Too much. Rotate Y, E to extrude, S to scale. Hangy. All right. That could work. Maybe some cracks on the stairs would be nice. That's true. And let's do... I'll crack this one. I think I need to... Why is this scary music going on? Maybe I'll do Control T to triangulate. Control... No, not yet. Control R. Control R. Yeah, I can't Control R this one because it's there. You can also do select two vertices and press J to link them. But I don't want to do that either. Control R. And then link these two. J. Does this make sense to anyone? J, Alt Z, because now I got some room there to make it crack, I guess. Control R, scale, Control R. Just need a little bit of geometry. GG. And I think I'll do S. Height inset. Okay, that was too sensitive. Too sensitive. Scale. Alt S. G. Don't know. Sort of. Looks a bit weird there, because I did it in a stupid way, probably. Let's do it here instead. Control R. Control R. Rotate. I have to change music. This is stressing me out. Hold on. Where's my music player? I've been streaming for 2 hours? How? GG. Control R. Scale. Height inset. Alt S to scale. G. Control R. Control R. Scale. Height inset. Alt S to scale. Control R. Control R. Scale. Height inset. Alt S to scale. Or no. I'll do E to extrude. S to scale. Alright. Now it's becoming a little bit more detail. Here's a thing that I've picked up somewhere. I can't remember where. But if you start to add detail like this, then it's expected that the whole island keeps that level of detail. Otherwise, it starts to look off place. So everything here is roughly the same thing. So I'm saying I'm going into too much detail here. So I'll have to stop that for now. But it's if you add, it's like literally like subdividing something once. If you do it, you should really do that for the entirety of the scene. All right, let's check. It's more of 100 minutes. Yeah, sorry for keeping anyone. Maybe it's 1,000. I wonder what else could be a little push there. No. Yeah, I've streamed for 2 hours already. Let's have a look. If you've got any questions, do @Invencia and put any questions there. Make the vines and moss more vibrant. I don't know. I want the dark feeling to it, I think. I was trying to make it look a bit unvisited. Can I change? Can't I remember how to change the viewport color? Can I remember to do that? Is it here? Background, viewport. Just wanted to do a little bit darker. Like a bit of a night scene. There. Should really render it with some mission again. How to show water flat waves on 2D. Okay, so Hossein, how to show water flat waves on 2D or 3D? Flat waves. It depends on so many things. If it's animated water, I'd use a shader effect, for example, if it was in a game engine. In here, one way would be to paint textures. For something like this, you probably want some sort of a ripple effect around it. I'm probably not gonna... should I? You could sculpt it and get some waves. Let's try to... but then it would take too long to probably... I can do, let's see. So, water. Shift D. What would happen is if I do Control 5 and then go back here, simple, Control A. Sculpting. I don't even know what I'd do, because I'd probably want some rip. Why is it? Oh, okay, I'll do Dino Topo. You'd probably want to animate it in that case anyway. And then the further away you go, you'd probably want to get into, let's see, can I do strength less? Into like normal waves. This is not your question, because it was how to do flat water. Alt, select linked, scale 0. Oh, what happened then? Reset is probably missing a lot of the stuff. G. Okay, oh, there we go. Don't know what that was. What is going on here? Oh yeah, I'm still in sculpting, that's why. There you go. And then you'd... probably want some white water around. Maybe you could do that too, actually. If I do top view... I wonder if I can do C. C is circle select. Make it smaller. Okay, I think I need even more actually, so let's subdivide this one again. Control 2. What happens? And then I'm gonna fake shade this. Okay, I'm gonna apply it, subdivision. Now we should have a lot of polygons here. Okay, and try it at least. Doesn't harm. I'm gonna try to pick the wave peaks. I have no idea if this would work. Because you meant to really have a shader that textures this on ripples and stuff. Let's try it. Some ripples around the boat. Maybe stuff that's touching here too. Anything that's nearly touching, maybe we'll do whiter. So I'm in circle select now, and all I'm doing is selecting faces. There. And then this could look terrible. And now I'm going to subdivide, I think. Or I'm going to do... Because I don't want it to have this much detail. So I'm going to try to go back to decimate. And then get it back into low poly world. A lot, if I can. Ah, okay, not that much. Too much. Okay, if it's laggy like that, you can type it in 0.2. Okay, 0.1. Here's a trick. Okay. Oh yeah, decimate. I'll apply it. Control A. So here's a trick that you could do. And that is, if you wanted to select all of these ones now, Shift L, remember that selects the... L, sorry. What am I doing? Shift L. L selects the linked. But if you change down here to UVs, you can actually select all the UVs that are connected. And then you can also do Shift G, I think, and do... Can you do UV here? I was hoping so. No, you could not. I thought you could. Because then it wasn't as efficient as I was thinking. Because then you'd still have to do it on all the individuals. Well, then there's another one you could do. Let's try before I speak. There. Okay, here's another one. I just had to think first. So if you wanted to select all of these again, so the L and UVs did not work because they're not linked together. If it was this one, it would... Oh, okay, this one works. And then Control I, invert. Okay, so that's one way to do it. But another one is to do as well is if you do all of it here and then click this thing in the UV editing, sync selection, and then double click A here and then B for box select and then just select that one. So you can actually select and then keep those in sync there. What I wanted to do was I was going to try to make that even whiter. So that was no good. Then, I don't know, this could have been a failed attempt. So Control plus. Let's do Control plus. I don't know. Could have worked. Nearly did. All right. Gino, let's see. Any questions? The waves seems too blue. Okay. Should we go darker? Then you can go desaturated. What color would it be? Ooh, that's dark. One thing that's a downside with this palette that I've realized is that if you wanted the pure colors, that's pretty good. But if you wanted something that's in between green and blue, there's no real good selection for it. So it'd probably be good with even more of a complex shader system. Not shader system, gradients. That would blend the different colors together as well, because that is a limitation of this one. Looks hideous. Oh well. I think I prefer the blue. Cartoonier. There you go. Let's see. Brim, thanks for all the tutorials. If texturing models, will the textures transfer over if moving to an engine like Unreal or or Unity or Unreal, should all UV mappings be done in Blender or the other side? If you use this method, then they will carry over. So I've only done it a lot, but I do it a lot in Unity. As long as you just drag in the same material into Unity, or the same texture, and create a diffuse material, then it'll work fine. I heard before that there was an issue doing this method to bring it into Unreal Engine, but I actually, in Unreal Engine 5 at least, I got it in exactly the way it was. Even with the infinitely small textures, infinitely small UVs, I got it in without any issues really. So it should work fine. C is more green where you live, yeah. In a good or a bad way. No, I understand. That's the thing. I mean, it's to try to get the blue-green color. It doesn't actually exist in this palette. So you'd color it with probably a vertex shader or something instead. What are your impressions of... so PC Cafe is wondering here, what are your impressions of Windows 11? Can't get past the start menu. It's horrible. It hasn't bothered me at all, actually. I like it a lot. But it could be because I'm coming from my previous PC was seriously slow. It was Windows 10, but it was a fast PC. But there was something in the Windows, what was it, the Explorer executable or something. There was some sort of a third-party plugin that I had that I couldn't locate which one it was. I tried to disable everything, but as soon as I was going to show something on the hard drive or show a file or a folder structure, I had to wait forever to do it. So in my mind, everything feels really fast and snappy now. So, but I like the new the shapes of it. There's a little bit of rounded corners. I tend to like that. But most of all, I feel that it's super fast, and I personally like that they move the icons into the center because my eyes are there all the time anyway. So I'm okay with it. All right. Use the ocean modifier. Oh yeah, probably should have used that one. I didn't even know there was one. Is there one in here? Or? Ocean. Oh, all right. Okay. Nice. Let's see. Oh, that animates it too. Yeah. See? Nice. Thanks for that tip. I've never actually used that one. I wonder if you can you get it... Oh, foam as well. Let's see. Waves. Okay. Oh, well, that makes a lot of sense. Use that one instead. I wonder if you can you get it to react with this somehow, so that it would that would have been super cool if that's possible. So it could react with obstacles. I doubt that it would. If that would have been the case, I would be super impressed. Oh, look at that displays. Okay. How cool is that? Thanks for that tip, Gisela. I wonder how you... it would have been really, really cool if you can get it to actually interact with obstacles. But that is cool. That's a choppy sea, wind velocity. Okay. And then you animate, I guess. So if I have time here, that is some sharp waves. Let's animate the time. So I'll go in. I'll have to change the parameters a bit, but let's go Z rendered. Then I should change the colors there again, but let's see, solid. Texture. And then, let's see, keyframing here. Go to frame number 1. Insert a keyframe on, if I get the modifier time 0, I to insert a keyframe. And then we'll go to frame 2. I'll do it to 240 because then it's on 24 frames per second. It would be 10 seconds. And then we'll do Maybe we'll do... Should we do 10 seconds then? Right. There. And then I'll have to change the size now. And where's the window? That's cool. I've never played with that one. How cool is that? That's a boat. So the thing that you'd have to animate as well is the boat, and then if you could, let's see if there's anything. Put collision modifier on the mesh you wanted to interact with in Vensia. Okay. So this one, add mod. So a collision modifier. Was it a collision modifier? Yeah. Semi-blind apparently. There. So settings are in the physics tab. Oh. So now I should pick that one, I guess. Where? Collision. Do I need to pick the collision as well? You can make the boat bob on the water. Add, for example, a small plane that you shrink wrap on top of the ocean. All right. Then copy the position keyframing to the boat. All right, that's cool. Physics tab, yeah. But how do I add the... Let's see. So collision is there. I've never done this before, actually. How do I... Oh, do I do it physics tab on this one? Collision. How do I pick the collisioning body? Let's see. Add liquidism, maybe. Just gonna check the chat. All right, okay, search. I'll have to look that up separate. I think it'll take forever for me to look at, but you could probably use a liquidism with the castle set to affect the collision. All right, cool. I'll have a look at that. Okay. I'll tell you what, I'm gonna play around with that one instead and see if I can actually make sense of how to do it properly instead of pulling you through me just searching for how to do it. Because it would be cool to grab this one. Let's see, I'm gonna move it down a little bit. Shift space G. Because if you can get that one to splash up and, like you said, with the shaded instead of painting the shaders, I mean, it's rarely I would do it, because usually in a game I would have the water displacement being done in the game engine anyway. But I have to say that I'm really impressed by the way it just ripples it down. Cool. The water would need collision modifier as well. Okay. But I think there's probably... Usually there's a few things, I guess, to set up. But it looks cool. I'll definitely have a play around with this. Spray. Alright. I think I'm gonna have to end the stream there, actually. It's been a fun little modeling time. Time's running away. It's been 2.5 hours. Hope you have had a good time. I've actually got a little bit curious to look a little bit more into this water stuff, so I can get it to splash around a little bit and foam around it. That would be cool. Maybe I'll add some more details to it. Usually when I model stuff like this, I just iterate and expand upon it until I'm happy enough with it. So the workflow is exactly the same, all the same operations. It's just a matter of trying to add stuff and removing stuff, adding stuff. So, all right, folks. I hope you've continued to have a good week. I'm going to bring up the full screen here. So back to the good old times a little bit, doing some random Blender modeling. It definitely feels like it's been a few months since I did the proper modeling. Workflow speed needs to be improving a little bit again. So I think I'm going to have to go back and doing some more speed modeling. And until next week, keep modeling yourselves and do some game development if you haven't. And then I'll be back on Thursday as usual next week. So if you haven't got anything else, have a good one. And don't forget to check out Line War on Steam. Go to Steam, just search up Line War. We released the game 2 weeks ago. It's been a really fantastic journey so far to create that game, and we're just upgrading the Unity version of Line War now to the latest version or the latest long-term support version. It's been interesting to switch to the new netcode, some surprises there, and surprisingly little documentation on the topic. So it's a lot of trial and error and then piecing things together. So, how it's spelled. It's like this. Line War. Check that out. No, we're going to do the outro today, of course. Of course. I tend to forget it, but you guys remind me all the time now anyway, so. That's it! Outro time! I'm going to switch off the music, and I'll see you next week.